So you'll be blocked.
Right.
If you keep messaging me. Lackluster. Exactly.
What's your name? And then you say your name.
Bella.
And it'll be like, naughty! Wrap it up. Hey loves. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to go over a recap of the 2-day market that we just did in Anaheim and go over some of the pros and cons of the show. So the first pro we would say is high foot traffic. For the 2 days, we would estimate there was approximately 5,000 people, but I would say for both days. Initially, they had assumed it would be about 5,000 people for both or individually each day, but I would say combined it was maybe 5,000 people. The first day was very well attended, and then the second day it drastically dropped off in the attendance. And then also going along with that was that the market attendees were ready to buy. They weren't I don't think that it was a lot of people who were there that were just window shopping or browsing. Most everyone that we saw had bags of things that they were purchasing, and there was an entrance fee, so the tickets were pre-sold, and people who were going in with the intent of buying.
Another pro was that since it was a 2-day market, we had more sales opportunities, and we even had some people that bought from us the first day come back the second day and buy from us again, since most of the product that we brought was exclusive to the show and more Disney themed.
The third pro would be content creation. So when people were walking up to our booth, they were filming a lot of the time. So they were taking videos of our products, or they took, if they bought product, then they were taking videos of those products once they got home. So we were able to repost the videos of people who've tagged us or our products in their videos, as well as giving us content to shoot and to be able to use in different ways. Once we finish going through all of what we filmed, then we can use it for shorts, we can use it for Instagram reels, we can just kind of repurpose it throughout different social media. So we definitely got a good amount of footage having it be the 2 days as well.
The fourth pro to the show was that we got real-time feedback from the customers who were buying from us, and we got to see which scents were more popular than others and which ones we may be bringing to the website in the future because they were so popular.
Just with different branding, because we're not gonna go towards a Disney theme on our packaging as of right now, but we definitely like the scents, so we can figure out a way to incorporate them into our candle lines. The fifth pro, I would say, is the networking opportunities that we made. Other vendors came to our booth, and we went to other vendors' booths during the show, and we would have breaks in between customers coming in. So we did get to talk with other vendors and exchange social media and look for the possibility of collaborating in the future, but also just showing support for each other and trying to make sure that our businesses can continue to grow. And then the final pro that we'll mention today is the customers that came to our booth and that were there at the show. Because even if they didn't buy from us, people were very interested in our products. They were very complimentary and just really kind overall. And it's hard when you're trying to get into these markets and get your name out there. And so when you have people that will go out of their way just to come and compliment you or tell you, that the packaging that you're using looks great, it really does help your confidence and help you want to continue to do these markets. So we really appreciate everyone who came out, everyone who stopped by or just posted our booth on their social media, because it means the world to us, even just to get our name out there and let people know about our branding. So we went over the pros, and sadly there are cons that we do have to go over. So con number 1 is the high booth fees. This market cost us $400 just for the entry. That did not include any pipe and drape, no tables, canopies, decor of any kind. It was simply just for the space.
No parking.
Yeah, it did not include parking.
Didn't include the permits that we had to get.
Right. So there was quite a few additional fees on top of the space rent itself. So we had to pay for a temporary seller's permit, a temporary business license, and then parking every day with 2 cars for some of those days. And that included load-in day. So for us, the number one con is definitely going to be the amount of fees, but also just the fact that we were not aware of some of those fees until the day of the show. And that leads into the second biggest con for this show, which was
communication. So ToonTown Market is pretty well known, but it's a smaller market. They do like one-day markets, I believe, in Fullerton. But this was the first convention that she did, so it was a much bigger event, and it was a 2-day event, and it was in a different location as well. Mm-hmm. So it was new to her, which we understand, but at the same time, the communication was very not there. We didn't know a lot of the details, and when vendors would reach out to her to ask, she would not respond or only respond to certain people, as opposed to giving the information to all of the vendors, because a lot of people had similar questions.
That led to a lot of disorganization and not having the information needed on the day that we were already there for setup for the show. Yeah, so we didn't know we had to pay $25 per car per day for parking until we were in line to get into the venue and there was someone ahead of us paying. And so that's when we found out that we would have to pay to park there, even for the day that we were just bringing the stuff in. And it's not that the host's fault that there is a charge for it, but communicating that would have made it so that we did not take 2 vehicles. We could have just taken 1 vehicle, a larger vehicle, and it would have saved us the cost of having to do that. It would have cut down on some of the cost of us having to bring 2 cars to make sure we could fit all the inventory and our booth setup items that we needed. So things like that needed to be communicated a lot sooner in the process. And one thing that we did when we started seeing so many vendors asking questions and not receiving answers was to try and reach out to the host with a list that we compiled of all the questions that were being asked from the vendors, so that the host could go through and possibly just make an FAQ and answer all the questions and post it to everyone so that more information was given. But unfortunately, like we said, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes because it is a bigger convention, but that did make a lot of people very frustrated. And then to have had almost 400 vendors and you're charging $400 each, you can do the math on that. That's a lot of money from people to have been told that you're going to be blocked if you continue to ask questions. And for some people, these are small businesses, so $400 to vend at a market can make or break some people's businesses. So just being able to know if you can bring something shouldn't be a question that completely throws off a host. It should be able to be easily answered. That is a very frustrating thing to deal with when you're a small business and you're spending money continuously to vend somewhere and trying to figure out if you can even decorate your booth a certain way, to only find out that day, which we did as well, which we'll go into. You can't put that up. You can't use that, and you've already decorated your booth, and now you have to go back and take everything down. So things like that, it's vital that people know certain things in order to vend with your market. Now, because this market is Disney themed, it's called a ToonTown market, it does market itself pretty well. So even if you're frustrated and you're, telling this vendor this, that, or the other about, how the market information is not being communicated well, it doesn't mean that that's going to change anything if people are still willing to vend because they know the customers are there. So if this is your main style of business and you do Disney resale kind of markets, then you have to be in the person's market. That's kind of what it is for if you're in Southern California. So it doesn't necessarily mean that your frustrations are going to come across to that person and that it will be fixed, because people are still going to bend. It's not like, what can you do at that point? So we just hope that as the market grows through the years, that it gets better and better. That was one of the biggest cons for us. Right behind fees and hidden fees, or fees that we didn't know about, is going to be the communication that was not there. Number 3 con. Merman! For this show was that unfortunately Bella was sick. She is still sick. She's getting better. She's on the mend. But she was very, very sick for the whole show. And so she could not do a lot of talking. And she was, when you're sick, you don't want to be around a whole bunch of people. You'd rather be in bed and wrapped in blankets and sipping on Dayquil. But
still sipping on Dayquil.
Yeah, but she toughed it out and she made it through. She does all of the sales transactions, so she had to do all of the payments and keep track of any kind of items that didn't go into the actual system or whatever was happening. So while I was kind of restocking everything with my sister and just kind of mingling around with customers, and I would pack the orders, but her being sick was not a fun time. No. So that was definitely a con, because it was a lot of cute stuff there. And I know that you would have wanted to go walk around and look at more things if you had felt better. And I don't think that, we didn't have a lot of time to go look and shop anyway. Yeah. But I think, if we could have just swapped out and she could have walked around and looked at things, you would have liked a lot of the things that was there. But
yeah. The first day we were so busy though, there was people constantly coming in and out of the booth that we didn't even have time to walk around. We barely had time to eat the first day.
That's true. And that goes into the next one, which is physical and mental exhaustion.
Oh. Yeah.
Because if you watched our video from last week where we showed us packing up everything, you could see in my face that I was physically and mentally exhausted. I could barely keep my eyes open at the end of that show.
Yeah.
It was a lot of sleepless nights trying to make sure that we had brought enough with us to sell, because after that first day, we were really worried that we were going to be sold out by halfway through. And we did sell out of a lot of the sizes of products and scents.
Yeah.
So, it's a blessing, because we definitely did not want to bring back a bunch of stock, especially because they were market specific. But it was also a worrisome thing, because it's you can't just leave in the middle of the market. So we wanted to make sure that we had items that we were going to be able to sell in case we ran out of products. But the exhaustion is very, very evident if you watch us in the video. And we brought chairs, but we're standing, we're walking around the whole time. So it's very exhausting, even if it's a shorter market. And then just talking to people the whole time, and explaining what the product is, and meeting new people, as fun as it can be.
It's a lot.
Yeah, especially because we're both pretty introverted. So it's you have to, put on your Sasha Fierce personality and go out there and really be on. You can't just sit up there and hope that people are okay with you being an introvert and don't like being around big crowds when you're trying to get people to know what your brand is. So
yeah,
physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, but we got through it, and we still had, I enjoy it. I enjoy the markets. It's like having your own little store.
Yeah. Another con was the sales variation. So it was a 2-day market, so we didn't know how busy it was going to be Saturday versus Sunday, and how much product we really needed to bring for both days. So on Saturday, we were super busy. There was people constantly coming in and out of our booth. So we were hoping that Sunday would draw the same crowds, especially since the tickets were pre-sale and they were, quote unquote, sold out. And there were supposed to be the same amount of attendees on Saturday and Sunday, but we could very visibly see that it was way less people on Sunday than it was on Saturday. And we think that part of that had to do with the fact that there wasn't really any kind of activities at the market. It was just vendors. There weren't really any food vendors. There was one food vendor.
Yeah.
There wasn't a DJ. There weren't any raffles like hosted by the show or special speakers or anything like that that would draw customers back again for a second day. Because you could really walk through and see every single thing within one day. You didn't really need to go both days.
And the way they sold tickets initially was that you had one day, so you could buy either Saturday or Sunday, or you could buy for the whole weekend. And we believe that the one-day tickets sold out almost immediately, so there were less. And then you had to buy 2-day tickets. So if you really wanted to go, then you were going to buy the 2-day tickets, even if you didn't plan on going for both days, or if you were only going to go for a specific vendor the second day because maybe the line was too long the first day, or you didn't get a chance to see part of the show. But you could definitely see a very marked difference between day 1 and day 2, and that did lead to the sales being lower for day 2. But yeah, I think that had there been more to do, like there were so many opportunities there. You could have had even people dressed as characters. There was not even music. It was very quiet.
Yeah.
Like
it was really just like the chatter of people walking around, and that was it.
And then second day, because there was less people, it was less chatter, so it was even quieter. So some people brought like speakers of their own, so it was just like random music here and there. But I mean, Disney provides like some of the best
soundtracks of all time. Award-winning soundtracks.
Yeah, scores that, you know, people love for all of their lifetime. And we didn't hear barely a song, so that I think would have helped a lot. That I mean, just even for us, it would have been more entertaining to have seen. But that did give us an idea for if we did do another Disney market, and I was going to share it with you too. But we could have brought our own character actors.
Who?
Anybody. We could have. Dominic would have already said he would have done Dr. Facilier. He said he was going to do fake tarot readings and everything.
That's hilarious.
So we could have had our own character actors, just kind of.
The cards will tell.
The cards will tell. We'd have people over there for him more than the actual booth.
Well, you know, everybody's always drawn to him. But yeah, we could have had character actors. We could have had people just kind of like going up to people in the booth. And they could have done so many things. Just, you know, hindsight, I guess.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like we said, if they continue to do this show, it gets better each year. And, you know, kind of just learn as you go.
Our last con, which wasn't really that big of a con for us at this convention, was that there were other candle vendors there. We only saw 2 other candle vendors there, but they were very different from our branding and our candles.
And each other.
Yeah, and each other.
Yeah, she had a few Disney things that we saw, but the majority of what she brought was it looked like her normal product line.
Yeah.
And the
They
other
smelled
one,
good.
And then the other one had Disney trinkets. I think they were like that were in crystals, kind of embedded on top of the candles. So they seem more like candles that you're not gonna burn. They're definitely gonna be candles that you're going to kind of just like have. But all of the branding was very different from each other. We were nowhere near each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't like any of us were having the same things. And I don't think either of them had the body sprays or room sprays like we had.
Yeah.
Or varying sizes of candles. So competition with other vendors was kind of high because there's a lot of vendors doing ears, a lot more vendors doing like cups, like the little tumbler cups and everything. So that was more competition in that regard. But I think for us, the competition was not really at this market because we were not in any way similar. So you could go to either one and still find something that you liked.
Yeah.
So I think that worked in our favor. But it can be a con at a lot of shows when you're having a lot of people with the same products. Yeah, who provides the same products for you as other vendors. But if everybody's using the same vessels, then it'll make it harder for you to stand out. But luckily on this one, the competition was there. There were, I mean, we're not going to say they're not competition to us, but they were just very different from us. And we did have a lot of people that came up to us and told us that they go to the regular markets, and to have us in seeing our products, they were saying that we were very different from what they see at these regular, the everyday, not everyday, but the more monthly markets that they go to. So they were very happy to see something different. And if we did vend there again, we would change it again, because it's, we want to make sure that it stays fresh for everyone. We would have, a different style or something that would be different. Unless people just really wanted a particular scent, I guess we would bring that back.
Yeah, which they did love the pirates specifically. Even though it didn't smell like the ride, it did not smell like the water, which everyone asked about, but it just smelled so good. They're like, I don't even care that it doesn't smell like the water.
We were gonna try to go for ones that smelled like rides at the parks, but we just decided to go a different route, and it worked out. It worked in our favor, so we're happy with the choices that we made.
So would we do this convention again, or would we go to one of the one-day smaller markets in Fullerton with ToonTown Market?
The convention, I think, now that we know a lot more about how it goes,
we'd be fine for the next one?
Yes.
For the next time, even though the communication was not there? We kind of figured it out, so we kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, and we could be ready for it a lot sooner and, adjust as needed if anything were to change. I don't know, in the next couple of years or so, if they do it again every year, I'm not sure. But it's a possibility I would do it again because of the customers. Definitely because of the clientele that comes there. Yeah. And, I mean, Disney adults are diehard. They go in for Disney, so. And we love everything about Disney as well. So that is one thing to keep in mind. This market is for Disney adults. I do not see a lot of children there, and I did not see a lot of.
There weren't a lot of products marketed for children either.
Yeah, there was maybe like one or two out of the hundreds of booths that were there.
But those were for like kid babies
too. Yeah, like baby products.
Yeah.
Everything else was very much geared towards adults.
Yeah.
And that works for us because, we have a product that is not geared towards kids. So if you ever plan on vending at this market, just know, have Disney themed items, even if that's not your norm. If you try to sell things that don't necessarily lean towards the theme of the market, then it may not do as well because people are there for
Disney
things. Yeah. So all in all, I would say good market. We definitely enjoyed meeting everyone. We did well at the market, and I think we would do it again.
Yeah.
In the future. Yeah. It was worth it for us, but it was not for everyone. So, you just have to do your research and see kind of if it works out for you and your business.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, loves.